Well, here we are. We're at the Soapbox Brewery here in mighty Bris Vegas. I'm Peter Bedell from the Courier Mail, and we've got the great Issac Hardman here ahead of his fight against Troy Coleman on the Nikita Zoo Dylan Biggs undercard in 2 weeks' time. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, mate.
Issac, good to have you here. And we're here, of course, looking at these beers. I think your previous opponent, Kazuki Kaihara, he needed a few beers after you towed him up, I reckon.
He definitely
It was a six-round walk.
Yeah,
you felt it.
Yeah, he did. He dead set did. So I bet he had a few Asahis on the way home.
It was Sayonara Kaihara, wasn't it? Wasn't that the catch cry?
It was Sayonara Kaihara back to Mount Fuji, and that's where I sent him.
Yeah, he was tough, wasn't he?
He was really tough. So he come to fight, and those Japanese blokes, they're stoic as and warriors. So he come out to try and win, and that's exactly what he did. And I got stuck into him, and it was a great fight. So it was a good way to headline a Wednesday night on No Limit and get back in the winner's circle and roll on to this next one.
I've got to say, Issac, you talk about the great nicknames in world boxing. Forget the Gypsy King, forget the Butcher, the Soul Taker. I reckon you've got the best nickname.
Head Splitter.
The Head Splitter.
Yep.
Tell us about how did this come about?
I was back in my footy days, back in Morayfield High. I went to a footy excellence school, and I used to play pretty hard. I always wanted to be a footy player, and one game out at Nambour, we played in the semi-finals. I went in head first and cut the kid's head, and it was Head Splitter Hardman and all my mates back at school and my teacher. We just rolled with it, and when I did my first fight and May fight back in the day, I thought, everyone back from Caboolture knows me as Head Splitter Hardman, why change it? So, and I've stuck with it for the last 12 years, so that's who it is, Head Splitter Hardman. First of all, what are we doing with these fucking closed beers, mate?
we can crack them open?
Yeah, crack them open.
Can you have one this close to the fight?
Real interview. I have a little.
Yeah, you'll have a little
mother's
sip.
milk.
Yeah.
Soapbox Brewery. There you go. Opinionator. I've got a few of them opinions.
This is for Troy Coleman, your next opponent.
That's
so
it.
This is for you, Troy. It's coming for you. What about the Head Splitter? Tell us about a bit about the boy from Caboolture, the proud Queenslander. What do you love doing in your spare time? I hear you mud crabbing. You're into crabbing, are you?
Yeah, I grew up in D Bay, Deception Bay, migrated to Caboolture, so I've had the best of the best growing up. Yeah, mud crab with the old boy, my twin brother, and now, I'm a family man. I've got a beautiful wife and a beautiful little daughter, and a bit of a master chef in the kitchen as well. I'm a pretty simple man. I love my boxing, I love my coach and the gym and the atmosphere we built down there at Nitro, but when I switch off from the gym, I love being a husband and a father, and every now and again get out there and mud crabbing. But I don't mud crab like these other people do. They throw the pots out there, come back 12 hours later. I just stick my head straight into the hole. And Jaya Bataya, he's a mad fisherman, and we've had a few back and forth. He's wanted to do a little filming thing where we go mud crabbing, and then he takes me fishing. But I don't think he wants to stick the hand in the mud crab hole like I do it. But yeah, we're built different in Caboolture.
Yeah. What about your brother? He loves the crabbing too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lost his pinky finger to a mud crab, unfortunately. Yeah. So he's got now only 4 fingers on his left hand or something like that. A big sucker got stuck into him, and he lost his pinky finger. But that doesn't stop us.
Yeah, lucky it's not your finger.
Yeah, that's right. But you don't need your pinky finger, really. I said that to her. I said, fuck, imagine if that happened to me. But you don't really need it to make a fist. So if it happens, it happens.
You talk about your lovely child.
Yeah.
I remember Jeff Horn saying to you that don't have kids while you're a boxer because it makes you soft.
Yeah,
but you don't seem to agree with
Definitely not. Like, I guess it's up to the person and their attitude towards it and stuff like that. Yeah, you start thinking, like, kids definitely change your life. People before I had kids would say, oh, it changes your life. I thought, oh, fucking no, it won't. Like, maybe a little less sleep, but it definitely does change your life. But for me, it's just made me want whole lot more. Like, yes, I'm a little bit more cautious of, doing dangerous things. Like, boxing is a dangerous sport, and that's the nature of the beast. But it definitely hasn't curbed my aggression or my willingness to want this. It just makes me want to have more of it, take more from boxing, because I want to send it to a good school. I want to get out by the time I'm 35, retire, and have a good life with my daughter instead of going to work 12 hours at the fucking Brick Lane shop and have to suffer and stuff like that. I want to get a good life out of boxing, and I know it can provide it for me, and grow old with my wife and watch my baby daughter grow up.
Yeah, mate, you're one of the great entertainers of this sport, Issac. We talk about the Head Splitter, but then you'll walk out to the horses, from the Head Splitter to the horses. Darryl Braithwaite, what's going on there?
Mate, there's a story behind that. I come from an MMA background, and there's a guy named Darren Till walked out in the England to sweep Sweet Carolina, and it's a big anthem over there. They just sing it. They play it fucking 10 times a night over in the English boxing arenas. And I thought, what's a good Australian anthem everyone will get around? It was Horses, and I thought, fuck it, let's go with the Horses. Everyone knows that song, gets sort of the crowd on side before they even need to be on side with you. So I go with that. But my last fight, I wasn't there. I had to lie, I'm not here riding on horses anymore. I'm here to do damage and get in your face. And that was the sort of the songs now I will come out to are like the moods I've had in training camp. And I'm not here trying to have fun anymore, like with the horses anymore. So that's dead and buried now. I ain't riding on horses anymore. I'm coming to do some damage, and the songs will betray a mood that I've had in the training camp or something I've just gravitated towards in that training camp. So, yeah, no more horses, no more riding on horses. Dale Braithwaite, he had his chance to sing me out to a fight, but he's missed it. That ship sailed.
Yeah, it does. Mate, what about Isaac? You're famous when you win. You got the famous stomp. The celebration.
The
Is this? Yeah, tell us about Ric Flair. You love the wrestling. I was a Hulk Hogan man.
Hulk Hogan, wrestled like a kid. I got a twin brother and an older brother. We used to do the moves for real, thinking it was a real sport. Like the suplexes in the lounge room and the crossbodies from the balcony. Me and my twin brother were going to be tag team champions of the world, and my older brother was going to be the heavyweight champion, and that we legit thought that was a thing. And man, Ric Flair, he's a fast talking man, and he's got style. So it just come to me that night when I fought Robert Berridge. It just come to me, and I stuck with it, and people love it.
Yeah. What about talking about fast talkers? Paul Gallen was a fast talker as a fighter.
Yeah, he was.
But I remember he was a commentator one night, wasn't he, for one of your fights?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
You thought you'd just have a chat to him.
Yeah, it was in between rounds. He said I should start going to the body. I think I leaned over and said, "Yeah, I agree. My coach just told me that, Matt. I'll go to the body." It happened to be I ended up stopping Robert through the body, and he claimed I should have done it a little bit earlier, but I only just heard him in the round 6 or something like that. But I took his advice, and it got me the job done.
Yeah. Mate, where are you at in your career, do you think, Isaac? Because you've had a couple of losses, which we probably didn't expect. There's a Rafa loss.
Yeah.
Was a real blow.
Yeah, for sure.
Where are you at in your career?
I'm on the cusp of breaking into the world scene. I was right there before losing to Rafa, and mate, I'm not even mad about that. He's a fuckwit anyway, but he beat me. The fuckwit beat me, and he put one on my chin, and he won, and he's sitting in his mandatory spot with the WBA, and I hope he goes and wins his world title. Good on him. I just don't believe he's a good person, but he beat me. So, and I brought myself undone that night. That's one thing that I could sits well with me. I fully believe he didn't beat me. I beat myself that night. I was too emotional. He claimed I was a racist. He's a fuckwit. But anyway, that got done, and then I moved on from that. It's made me a better person, a better father, better everything. You learn a lot more from your losses, unfortunately, in this sport. If you could win every fight and feel like a loser, that would be where the magic happens, because the magic happens after you lose. You dig deep into yourself and see what you're really about. And I bounced back from that with that KO of the year with Bo Hardis. He was the only person willing to take that fight at the time. And then, I fully believe I'm on the cusp of world level with the loss to Roel Murdoch. No one wanted to fight him either at the super middleweight. Not even my division. I go up there and fight the most avoided super middleweight. And now he's fighting for a mandatory world title spot as well, so he's going to go do good things as well. And I feel like I lost the boxing match. I won that fight, I hurt him with some big punches, cut his eye, and I had not one mark on me, but he spits his mouth guard out, this, that, and the other. But it is what it is, and I fully believe now I'm on the cusp of being world level, and that just goes, with this next opponent, I believe he isn't where I am, and I'm not world level yet. There's still a few things I could sharpen up, my defense and stuff like that. But I have world level attributes like my power and my gas tank. So and that'll shine through on November 22nd. It'll just be another sort of proven point. Like, I'm not a domestic level fighter anymore. People here like the Camel Toe Learys and Alex Walters and all that, like talking and saying each other's names. I was saying their names, but they didn't want to man up, put their balls on the line and take the fight. So that ship sailed. I ain't doing the domestic fights anymore. Not at all, unless it's Michael's Rafa, and which he'll never want to fight me again until I'm in the opportunity where his back's up against the wall and he has to fight me. I'll put myself in a mandatory position for, hopefully he wins that world title, and then I'll get my revenge on that man. But outside of that name, there's no one here in Australia that's willing to take the fight or will want the fight or is man enough to take the fight.
So you could beat him, you think?
For sure, 100%. Yeah. I fully believe that with all my being. Like I said, he didn't beat me, I beat me, and that was me being too emotional. I was young, 25 years old. 10-0 or 11-0 at the time, and I brought myself undone. You know, I didn't box at all, and I was so close to changing the narrative of being this aggressive, hyper-aggressive, one-punch KO artist, pub fighter, MMA fighter, whatever you want to call it, however you want to spell it out. And I was close to that, changing that narrative, being a boxer, and then I go out and box like a spastic and get done, you know, put one on the chin in the second round, and I didn't throw a jab or anything. I just loaded up power punches, looked slow and sloppy. And, yeah, it bounced me back a little bit. But, again, everything happens for a reason. I believe that. And it's put me in a position today where I'm, you know, a bit more grounded. And, yeah, man, it happened for a reason. I believe that.
Yeah, it was a fiery affair, though. He called you a racist, didn't he, in the lead-up?
Yeah, it was a real...
That?
Oh, it was shit. My wife's of colour. My daughter's going to be of colour, you know. My best mate's a Samoan, you know, Samoan Indian, you know. I got... Middle Eastern friends. I got my partner's PNG. My father-in-law's, you know, as black as this tabletop. You know, I'm not a racist by any means. You know, I got friends of all different cultures. You know, and he calls me a racist in front of a building. We're in a building like this, and there's me and my coach, and then a manager guy. With all of his support, you know, and I said, hey, fuck, tell everyone here why I'm a racist, because an accusation these days is as bad as doing it, you know. You can label that person this, that, and the other, and you wouldn't even know if he is or not, you know. An accusation's bad these days. I wanted to say, tell me why I am. He couldn't tell me, and then there was punches flown. My coach got spat out on the way out, got kicked down the stairs. There was 2 people versus 60 people, and it was a recipe for disaster from the get-go. And even that venue, I had some wild people in my back dressing room looking after us and, you know, beefing up our little support crew. And, it just was a recipe for disaster. It brought me undone. I brought myself undone. But all that aside, Michael Zraffa beat me that night, and I'll give him his credit where it's due. He beat me, put it on my chin, and I didn't think he could punch, and he showed me he could. So, it is what it is. But I'm no racist, and that man's a piece of shit.
Yeah. What about Troy Coleman, this fight coming up, Isaac? What do you know about him? And it's a big fight, isn't it? If you win this, you get a world ranking.
Yeah, definitely.
WBO Intercontinental belt on the line.
Yep.
What do you know of Troy?
I know he's tall, so that will present its challenges. But I believe, you know, it's funny. You know, people say there's levels to boxing. I never really believe that, because I just feel like if you can fight, you can fight. But there definitely is levels to boxing. I'm realising that now, and I believe he isn't on my level. Like I said, I've got some attributes of world level things like my power and my gas tank, my timing. I just don't believe he's on my level, and I'll show that November 22nd. But he comes to fight. He's 12-2. He's tall. He comes to win every time he gets in the ring. So I know he's over in Uzbekistan right now training. So I got him on Instagram. We chatted a few times back and forth. So he seems like a good fella. You know, like I was telling him about the stories, you know, here in Australia, and I thanked him for taking the fight, because no one here in Australia will take the fight with me, and that's what it's about. But I'll body that man come November 22nd. He doesn't know it yet, but he's got to have a long flight home.
Yeah, and even Isaac, you look at your pedigree and some of the sparring you do. Like, you sparred Tim Tszyu many a round, haven't you? 100%. Tell us about your experience sparring Tim. And
unreal, you know. Like I've done about 100, close to 80, 100 rounds with Tim Tszyu. He's phenomenal. He's got the last name, but he's also got the fucking skills, that's for sure. And no one can deny that anymore, you know. The Mendoza win, that was like a proper measuring stick. Mendoza was active, you know. Whereas Tony Harrison wasn't active before that fight. Tony Harrison's Tony Harrison, though, you know. And then Ocampo, that was like a, you know, just blitzed through him. But this guy was a proper measuring stick, I believed, and he passed it with flying colours. Didn't stop him, but he beat him up for 10, 11 rounds, you know. 12 rounds. I don't think Mendoza got a round up on him. So he's proper world class, and I've mixed it in with him. Again, I've done plenty of rounds with Caleb Plant, Shane Mosley, Kevin Newman, some Russians over there in the States. You know, that's why I believe my skills, and I back it, because I can draw back to that experience. But fuck, you know, I've been in there with these guys. This Troy Coleman isn't about that. So, well, he might be about that, but he ain't on that level.
What about Isaac? Eventually, I think Tim Tszyu will go up to middleweight. It seems only a matter of time with the way he's growing.
Yeah, for
physically.
Sure.
Would you love to fight him? Do you think he'd be
know,
capable of sticking it to him?
100%. Like, if I wasn't a fighter and I was a coward like every other middleweight in Australia, I would say no way, you know. But for sure, if there's an opportunity for me to get paid and write history in Australian boxing or my own history book, my own legacy, for sure I'm going to take that. So me and Tim are friendly. You know, I'm good friends with Tim. You know, Glenn Jennings is a good manager. He's friendly with Blair. Igor's a great man as well. So that's fine. But, you know, once you're in the ring, you put all that aside. You know, I'm not gunning for Tim Tszyu at all. He's doing the super welterweight thing. I'm doing my middleweight thing. And I've got another man on my radar. I want that Michael Zarafa rematch. You know, I want to get my hands back on that guy. I can't finish boxing without having that. But if a fucking big payday come along and Tim Tszyu wants to come to middleweight and, you know, I've got a title and he wants it, bang, I'll, for sure, 100%. That'd be stupid not to, you know. Like, I would rather die knowing than not knowing. That's the thing with these people sidestepping other people and the big names, you know. Take the fight and die knowing. I don't want to be on my deathbed that, fuck, should I took that fight? Do I know? Could I beat him? I want to test my medal against his medal. So if that ever come up, oh, man, I'm putting my hand up. You know me, like, I'm stepping up to light heavyweight, light, you know, super middleweight. It doesn't matter, you know. Whatever's in my way on the other side of the ring, I'm going to have a fight. So, for sure.
Mate, your honesty is admirable, Isaac. I think that's one thing in Australian boxing. People love your honesty. A lot of people don't call a spade a shovel. You do.
Yeah.
Where does this come from? Do you just want to entertain? Do you try
No,
and
it's
stir the
honest.
pot?
No, it's stirring the pot or not. Like, honesty, I guess, stirs the pot from time to time, you know, because people don't want to hear the honesty. And honestly, I can say it's from my coach, Blair Studley. He's got a saying, you know, honesty is the best policy. So I've learnt that from him, just to be honest, say it how it is. Because it's always sets you up for failure if you say, buddy up to this person, then you tell his mate he's a fuckwit, you know, and then that gets routed back to him, and then I look like the idiot. So I'd rather just say it how it is, straight off the bat, and people know where I stand. And then I don't have to, oh, do I like that guy or not, you know, or what have I said about him, or this or that, the other. And honesty is the best policy, and, you know, it gets me people onside and offside. But again, honesty sometimes can hurt, so I'm not here to make friends. I've got enough friends as it is. I got my wife, my baby, Blair, and probably 3 other friends. I don't need any more friends. I'm not in this sport to make friends, you know. Yeah. So it is what it is.
Being the co-main for this upcoming No Limit card, which is going to be another cracker.
Yep.
Nikita Tszyu, Dylan Biggs, great fight.
Great
I think it's a great styles make fights type of scenario.
Yeah.
Who wins and why?
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. I said it off camera, and, like, I'm with the No Limit team, but I think, and, like, they'll probably not like hearing it, but I think Dylan Biggs gets up, and I don't like Dylan Biggs because he beat my teammate. So, you know, I would like for Nikita to brain him and put him out unconscious, because then that makes Dan Hill's win, you know, a fight look better, you know. Yeah. Whereas if Nikita just comes out and gets him done easily, then it sort of brings Hilly up a little bit more. But it goes 2 ways, I feel like. If Nikita catches him early, it's all over because he's super explosive, but he has tired a little bit in his last fights. This is now a 10-rounder for the title. Dylan had a hard fight with Hilly. I thought he would have learned a lot from that fight, you know, going the 8 rounds with Hilly, who's got such a work rate. But yeah, I think Nikita gets him out early or Dylan wins a decision. I think I'm leaning towards edging my bets Dylan. So the boys at No Limit won't like that, and I'm sorry, Nikita, you're a fucking awesome dude. Bit weird, bit John, what's his name, Dahmer-ish, like Jeffrey Dahmer. I like him, you know, he's a good dude. And same with Tim and Glenn, they're all good, Igor, they're all good guys, but that's my opinion. And it's wrong. That's like the thing. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got them, and some are shitty. You know. The
good thing for you, Isaac, I think people see you as a banger, which you do have the power. You've got world-class power, but I think the last few fights you've had, even though it was a disappointing loss to Murdoch, it went I think 10 rounds.
Yep.
And then another tough fight against Kaihara. So they're the rounds you needed to bank, didn't you?
Sure.
I think you're a more rounded fighter now than you were a year ago.
I appreciate that, because, you know, the trip to America sort of went both ways for me. I was in there mixing it with Caleb Plant, like Mosley and all these other guys, Kevin Newman, and I put myself on this, I'm a boxer, I can box these people, and I should have just voiced that to Blair, because my style is, once I'm on you, and I pressure. And, you know, the few times I got off the gas against Ron Murdoch where I feel like I could have put him away, and I took that approach into the Kaihara fight, and, you know, you've seen my development as a fighter with my more head movement, different angles with my punches, but stayed on top of him when I had him hurt and got the job done. So I'm getting back to my authentic self, and, you know, still with all the new hardware and software I've added to my tool belt, but still staying true to that pressure fighter, big puncher, and when I got you hurt, I'm getting you out of there.
The world title for you, Isaac, obviously it's the dream for every boxer.
Oh, absolutely.
How realistic is it for you? Can you win a world title?
For sure I can. Like, I've been in there with the guys that have held them, you know, so I fully believe that, and self-belief is a massive thing. I fully believe I could beat Michael's Rafa, I could beat Lara, I could beat these guys at the top that have got the belts. Zenebek's a different story. Zenebek's a hard fight for absolutely everyone. But again, like, I'd rather die knowing. But for sure, I fully believe I've got world-class attributes, and when I fix up, or not fix up, but just refine the other things, then I'll become the total package. And on any day, anyone can beat anyone, and I feel like I can be in that realm with those top, 2% of the world-class middleweights. I'm for sure not there just yet, and I know that, and I'm honest with myself, but I can be there, and I will be there.
Before we wrap this up, Isaac, can you give us a message for Troy Coleman before we knock off these
Coleman.
beers?
I know he's come and trained hard. Troy Coleman's all the way over in Uzbekistan training his ass off, but mate, I ain't no fucking taxi driver from Thailand. That's the end of the story.
Issac Hardman, this is your life.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Good
Thank
luck.
You.